Hello, everyone. I just wanted to share a few thoughts on this week as we wrap up and head into our next week. I want to say thank you again to Dr. Janet Diaz for joining us and for taking part in the live stream. I thought it was a great conversation that I had with her, and I'm really grateful that she could take the time to speak to all of us. I hope that you found her comments insightful and helpful. Again, if you have any questions or comments you didn't get to ask during the live stream, you can always send me an email at uprojectoutreach@gmail.com, all one word, and U is the letter U. I think just to summarize this week, you can do that. I mean, there's a lot of loose ends, and I'm not going to pretend to sew them all up. But I did really like what Dr. Diaz said about how we can get in the way of unity by our own stubbornness, our own refusal to, acknowledge when we've messed up, holding on to our own stuff. And we see a lot of that in our culture where I think people don't want to acknowledge their own stuff, so they point the finger at others. And it doesn't really help anybody, So if our goal is unity, we need other people, we need other people to be united too. It can't just be a one-person effort. However, there is something of it starting with ourselves that's also really necessary. And so that's something to keep in mind as we progress throughout the rest of this series and project. It sounds very cliche, change starts with you. But there is some truth to it, right? So I really appreciated that insight from Dr. Diaz. I think all of us are really hungry for unity, especially right now. And there are a lot of people and things promising that they can bring that to varying extents. And of course, I'm all for good politics. I'm all for good public discussion. I'm all for good educational institutions. I'm all for the free expression of religious practice. I'm all for the end of, racism in whatever form it may exist. However, caveat, I also want to just highlight what Dr. Diaz kind of ended with, which is that this idea of starting with ourselves, there's something missing from that picture until we introduce the love of God to that. And if we don't know ourselves as deeply loved, deeply known, deeply cherished, then what do we have to share with those around us, with our brothers and sisters? And perhaps this lack of the experience of God's love is why so many of us live our lives feeling broken and lost and emptied. And instead of going out of ourselves to give ourselves to those around us, we often end up taking from and hurting the people that are closest to us. Just a thought. So I hope I hope this week has been fruitful for all of you. I hope that it's stirred up some questions. Again, I really want to start a dialogue, so please reach out, and we can talk these things through. I think that's the only real path forward is dialogue and communication, right? Instead of all of us just looking at our screen and nobody talking to anybody. Next week, we are going to be diving into a whole new topic. I'm very excited for what we have coming up. And our guest speaker will be Dr. Donald Wallenfang, who is another professor at Sacred Heart Major Seminary. He has his PhD in philosophy. He's also a theology professor. He's a really wonderful guy. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with him. That'll be on Wednesday evening. And I'm hoping also to schedule another shorter interview, maybe on Saturday with a good friend of mine who's a professional counselor, and I think he might have some insights as well to share about what we've been talking about. So stay tuned for all of that. Stay tuned for the little videos we've got coming up. Again, please comment, share your thoughts, like the videos, share them with other people if you're so inclined. And thanks for being part of this.